awesome, girl, I see. Could just go with the motion. One thing I know for sure, you, girl, I need. Could just give me a portion. No, I ain't tryna force you. All I need, bet we go up like motions. Tell me I wanna know some, girl, I see.
What's up, YouTube family? It is Kiki and Cam. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our channel, check out our page, like the video, leave some comments, and we appreciate everybody that's tuning in. You all have been very patient. We appreciate everybody who's been patient. We've been hinting at, big reveals, and we've been waiting to give you all an update as far as everything that's been going on. So I do want to start out by thanking everybody who has been patient, everybody who's tuning in for the big reveal and, for the update. Unfortunately, we planned for the big reveal to be in better spirits than what it's going to be, but here we are. So we're just going to do everything all in one, right?
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know where to start.
Well, I guess it would start when we first made the original TikTok back in August about, her not wanting to take a test and her not being good at tests.
Take it. I ain't even good at tests.
So originally, like I said before, we don't make TikToks or any videos with the intention of making a specific video. Whatever comes out is whatever comes out. I just get my camera when I can already see she's revving up to make some type of video. She's about to say something that's really outlandish. So I'll just get the camera. And that just, it was a couple days where she was just not feeling well, really irritable, and I don't know how to explain it. She was showing some pregnancy symptoms.
He always thinks I'm pregnant.
Yeah, like I was talking to her mom every single time I think she's pregnant. Like I'll text her mom, like, I think this is the one. I think she's pregnant. Like she can take a test. And then she won't take a test for like 2, 3, maybe a month, and she'll never be pregnant.
And that specific video, well, I don't even know, like around that time, he thought I was pregnant like every 2 weeks. Let's just start there. I can have a gas bubble and he'll think I'm pregnant.
Yeah, but it's just because you're just so irritable, and it's like when you start acting different, that's when I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And
it's all the missed periods.
Yeah, that probably, yeah. So, I guess we can just start from there. Basically, he wanted me to take a test. I was really irritable, just having a bunch of different symptoms. I did miss a cycle. I think I know I didn't take it. I waited a while, and then I ended up like coming on, so there was no need for me to take a test. It'd be like a bunch of different circumstances. Is that the word I want to use? Or scenarios? I don't know, but it'd be a bunch of different times where it'd be something like that. Like, I guess I'd have different symptoms, and then, he gets really excited, like, oh, take a test, I think you're pregnant. I didn't want to take one. And then the period comes. So, we ended up making another one, as far as like, at this time it was kind of like, it was funny because everybody was just, asking like, oh my gosh, is she pregnant? Like, please take a test. We want to know. And so honestly, at this point, we were kind of like playing with y'all. As far as when I made that video, like, okay, y'all have been asking. I had the pregnancy test in my hand. I did not take a test. Did I take a test?
No. Well, you took a test, but it wasn't that specific test. That test was blank.
I was just asking. Okay, so I took a test and it was negative, actually. But at that point, we were just kind of playing with everybody. Like, they were just, oh, are you pregnant? Whatever. So we just kind of
Yeah, like
playing
everybody,
around.
it became a really big thing because everybody was asking, like,
Out of nowhere.
hey, are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? I can't wait for you to be pregnant. I can't wait to find out that you're pregnant. I know that you're pregnant.
Yeah.
We went to the gym one day and someone was like, oh, I follow you on TikTok. Are you pregnant?
Yeah.
Like, they don't care about anything else. There was so much other stuff that was going on. Buns and Noble was going on. Everything was going on, but no one cared about any of that. Everybody cared about if she was pregnant or not.
Yeah, literally just go out places and that's all people wanted to know. Like, hey, you pregnant? So we were just kind of, playing around at that point. So did anything else happen in between that time before the other video?
After Buns and Noble, I don't think that we did anything pregnancy related for a few months. A couple months later, though, I thought she was pregnant again. And I don't think you took a test.
Is that when the other video was?
I don't remember.
Well, I don't think anything happened in between there, but we ended up making the other video where he was telling me again to take the test, and around that time he thought I was pregnant again. So he had been telling me to take a pregnancy test. I did not want to take one. I think a part of it was just I just didn't want to, like, it's kind of disappointing when you do keep taking pregnancy tests and they're negative, and so I just would be like in my mind, like, oh, I'm not pregnant, if I just give it some time, my cycle will come. My cycle is always irregular, so it's like I never know exactly when it's gonna come, but I'll just be like, oh, if I just wait a little bit, I'll come on. And normally that would be what happened if I didn't take a test, so it was just never a lot of precedent on it for me.
I had actually given up because I didn't even, I don't think I even texted your mom last month because I was like, every time, you always say listen to you, so I started listening to you and I was like, I'm not even worried about it.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe other things are wrong with her.
That was your assumption?
Yes.
I
thought that there were other things that was wrong. Like,
thanks so much. Thank you. So sweet. So, yeah, I didn't really want to, take a test or anything. So, we'd been kind of going back and forth about that for a little bit. Like he had just been telling me, take a test. I didn't want to. And then I think I ended up coming on, towards the end of November, right? Mm-hmm. So I ended up coming on, I think it was like sometime around Thanksgiving. I did actually take a test. I think it was a little bit after that though, right?
No, it was before. It
was before? So I did take a test a little bit before.
So that's when you came on, like a couple of days later.
After I took it. So I took a test and it was negative. So at that point, I was just like, kind of glad, like, okay, I didn't get my hopes up, because it would have been just another disappointment type thing. But I did end up taking a test that was negative, and then I ended up coming on like a couple days later. So I'm going through this time, of course, like, okay, took a test, it's negative, whatever. So I don't know exactly when it started, but when I tell you this man right here was on my nerves so bad. Like, I just out of the blue.
As soon as Thanksgiving hit.
It was Thanksgiving?
No, it was. So I ended up.
No, it was after Thanksgiving.
So I guess just to clarify, she wasn't pregnant. She had not been pregnant. So all those videos that you guys were watching, she wasn't pregnant.
Yeah.
But I ended up, Thanksgiving, almost losing my life. And at that point, she was safeguarding me. I could not leave the house. I could not do anything. I couldn't go anywhere. Couldn't talk to anybody. I was in the bed. And from there, I guess that's when, I thought that it was just that maybe you had just your fill of Cameron for, you know what I'm saying? Like every couple of weeks, that's when you start, okay, get out.
That's
go
just
play
not
basketball.
true.
Every single time.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
go play basketball, go hang with Jay or whatever. Like every couple weeks. If I'm in the house too long, you start getting irritated.
I guess he says it was Thanksgiving, so.
Or right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so it was just like, he was on my nerves so bad. And I could not figure out why. Like, he would literally be asking me, like, why are you, like, what's wrong with you? And I'm telling, I don't know. Like, I'm just angry. Like, I'm just literally so angry. And I wouldn't know why. I didn't know what was bothering me. I did not know what it was. But like, it was kind of like, we wasn't even like having arguments or anything. Like, we weren't in a bad place. Like, things had been great. You know, we've been spending a lot of time with each other. It wasn't like, you know, we were in a bad place or anything, but he could literally just breathe too loud, and he was on my nerves. Like, it was so bad. And so, like, he just kept making little comments like, oh, you know, you're irritable. And keep in mind, this is not too long after, you know, I had took the pregnancy test. So it wasn't like we're thinking like, oh, you're pregnant, but he's just like, you know, maybe about to come on or something, because you're just like super irritable. Like, you know, you're always sleeping, you know, maybe you're just about to come on. But it was just like weeks of that, like weeks of just, I was so agitated. And then he'll ask me what's wrong, and I'm literally telling him like, I don't know what's wrong. Like, I'm just so angry, but I don't know why. And so I give it to him. He was definitely very patient with me through that time, because I don't know what was, like, I was just so angry. What happened after that?
I mean, that's pretty much been
it.
the life for the last couple months.
So
your irritation level.
Yeah. So
I've been really tired.
Yeah, he's been like, we were both like really super tired. And for him, it's more so like out of character for him, because he's like an early bird. He always gets up early, you know, always up, ready to move, on the go. He'd wake up, fall right back to sleep. He would stay up kind of late sometimes, but he'd just always be tired, like take naps throughout the day, go to sleep early, he wake up, he's still tired, all that stuff.
I'm really big on like, just like, even if I get 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep, like I can get up, I know I got to be up at, 8 a.m. and I can get up, have a day, go play basketball, I could do a whole lot of things. But the last couple months, like my sleep schedule's off. I'm always hungry, so like I'm eating like just like everything.
Crazy. He was eating everything.
And
pink Starburst mainly though. That's all he wanted was pink Starburst.
I was eating pink Star. I'm like 2, 3, and not the little packs. Like it's the big long ones. I'd eat like 2 or 3 of those a day.
Yeah, seriously.
Like they had me in a chokehold. Like I was irritable, because I was just like, bro, like. I want to be by myself sometimes. Like I'm just like, like I'm just sitting here watching the game, and I don't even be bothered. Every time somebody call my name, I'm getting irritated. I'm getting angry. But it was a sleep that really, like, it threw me off. I'm like, why am I sleeping so much? Like even recently, where it's like, I get up for work at 8:30. He said, I go to bed. We go to bed like what, 1, 2 o'clock. Yeah. I would. But 6 hours of sleep, really for me, that'd be good sleep for me. I mean, 6 hours of uninterrupted sleep. Like I'm getting up with 6 hours straight of sleep. That's great for me on any day. But I'd wake up and I'd go back to sleep about another hour. Like it'd be so bad, because like I just couldn't stay up. So it was really rough for me, but I just did not know what it was. I had a hunch about what it was, but you gotta think about, like, we're talking about 24 months. So we're talking at least 18 months of, I'm not pregnant. I'm not pregnant. So don't keep saying, you think I'm pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I promise you, I know my body. As her favorite line, I know my body. If I was pregnant, I would know, because I know how it feels to be pregnant. And she wasn't saying anything, so I was like, okay, well, I'll let you have it.
So, yeah, it was just like, I was just ready to chew his head off, literally. Like, he could breathe too loud, and I'm like, you're on my nerves. Like, it was bad. So, again, like, my cycles are always really irregular, so I never know exactly when I'm about to come on, but normally, like, a couple weeks before I'm about to come on, my breasts get, like, really, really sore. And so, that happened, what, like, end of December, I think?
No, it was early on December. It was
no, because I had came on, remember, end of November.
Yeah, but ever since then, it was like a couple weeks in, like mid December.
So mid December, they got like really sore, like I was about to come on, and so I had just taken the test and stuff. So I'm like, oh well. Oh wait, I can't. No, it wasn't. I don't think that's right. It wasn't mid December. I think it might have been like
it was
early or end of December or early January.
No, it was. I'm telling you, it was mid. It was actually early to mid. It was like December, like 9th or 10th, because every month before you come on, it'll be really early, because you'll come on and then you'll have like a week where you're fine, but a week later you're like, my boobs are hurting. My boobs are hurting really bad. But yeah, think about it. Your periods would be like 3 to 5 months in, you know what I'm saying? Like you might not have one for 3 to 5 months. So when you talking about your boobs starting, I know exactly, like your period comes on like the 3rd or 4th week of the month, around the 21st, 21st, something like that. So around around 14 days before, about 2 weeks before, you're like, my boobs hurt, my boobs hurt, my boobs hurt. So I'm kind of being generous in the 9th. It might have been around the 5th or 6th.
I don't know about that one.
Listen, and it was different this time because it wasn't so much like, usually, your nipples would be hurting, but...
Well, remember at first it was my nipples.
But then it became like your whole, like your boob, like the outside around it, it was hurting really bad. And
but there was some time in between that though. Because remember, I thought I was like, I'm about to come on because, I was like, it had been a little bit since I came on. That's why I'm like, I think it was towards January.
What are you talking about? Like maybe because I didn't know. I thought you were saying that your nipples were hurting, but I heard you talking to your mom. You was like, it's not my nipples, it's my whole boob. And I was just like piecing everything together. I was like,
no, because at first, remember, it was my nipples, and then I didn't end up coming on when like 2 weeks had passed. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, well, my nipples were hurting, like I was about to come on, but I haven't came on. And so then I think after like another week or so, then it became like my whole breasts were hurting, like to the touch, like they were tender, like on both sides. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on, like, at first my nipples were hurting, but I didn't end up coming on after 2 weeks like I normally do. And so then after that, like my whole boobs was hurting. And so then I ended up like starting, it was like, I thought I was coming on because it was like light. But it was some stuff happening. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is why it's been hurting, but it stopped after a couple days. And so I'm like, okay, this is weird. Like at that point, I'm like, I probably need to just make a doctor's appointment. Like I know that I'm not pregnant, but maybe something else is going on because with, I'm checking for lumps and stuff. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, let me make a doctor's appointment. And so at this point, I'm just like so irritable. But then I think I started bleeding again. Like, what was it, like another week later or so? Like a week. Mm-hmm. So I started bleeding and it stopped. And then like a week later, I started, bleeding again. And so I'm like, this is weird. So he's telling me like, make a doctor's appointment. And I'm like, well, it's just my cycle's coming on. Like, I'm just, maybe that's why, the hormones and stuff, women, I couldn't get the word out, but women, how like, the hormonal changes and stuff before you come on. So I'm like, well, maybe that's why, my breasts were sore and I've been irritable and stuff. So I'm not gonna make a doctor's appointment. So, they just never stopped being sore. Like, and they hurt like to the touch. Like he couldn't even hug me. And I'm like, like jumping, like it hurt so bad. And then I started noticing like I'm having these like cramps. And so like the first couple days, you know, like I'm telling him like, you know, I'm having these like cramps, like they feel kind of sharp, you know, but it's like it would go away. But, you know, throughout the day, it's like I'd be having these like cramps. So I think there was one night, maybe by like what, the third or fourth day, something like that. And it just was hurting so bad. Like it was so severe. And I had this like pressure like in my behind. Like I felt like I was literally about to use the restroom on myself. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. Like it was really painful. Like my boobs were just hurting. It's like I kept feeling like I was going to use it on myself all day. And then it was just this really bad pain. Like it's like a stabbing pain, like a sharp pain, like in my pelvic area. And so I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I remember I tried to like go to the restroom because I'm thinking like maybe I have to just use it or something. Like, you know, maybe I gotta use the restroom. So I sat on the toilet for a while. I ended up like getting on the floor, like, and just kind of curling up and laying there because it's like, you know, I'm not using the restroom. Just like I just feel like I have to so bad. But it was super painful. So I'm getting hot and stuff. I'm sweating. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And so I go and I like try to lay down on the bed for a minute. I literally just went in the bed, like took my clothes off, just laid down. And he just walked in the room like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just hurting. Like, I don't know what's going on. But the pain in my pelvic area, it went down. It took what, maybe like an hour or so. But it ended up, you know, like it wasn't hurting so bad anymore. So at that point, you know, that felt better, but I'm still having this pressure, like where I feel like I'm about to like just use it on myself. And then, you know, my boobs are still hurting really bad. And this went on for days. Like there would be little things, like I might be laying down on the bed or something and he'll come and like, if I'm laying on my stomach, he'll come up behind me and it would like just hurt my behind, like, cause it was just hurting, like everything was hurting. So, you know, a few more days go by. I'm just like, you know, I keep telling him like, you know, I'm having these cramps, like I don't know what's going on, like I'm just in pain really. And so he kept telling me like, hey, you know, you need to go to the hospital. And I'm like, no, you know, I don't really want to go. I'm just thinking like, you know, maybe this is just menstrual stuff. I'm like, if it doesn't get better, you know, or clear up in like a few more days, then, you know, then I'll go, because I don't know what this pain was that was like in my butt, but that was kind of throwing me off. But I'm like, you know, if it doesn't get better in a few days, then, you know, then I'll just go ahead and go. But it never got better. Like, I literally was walking around, like, just telling him all day, like, babe, my butt hurts. Like, it's just, I don't know what's going on. Like, babe, my boobs hurt. Like, it was just bad. So, then I had another episode where it was just, like, severe pain. Like, just that pain in my pelvic area. What were we doing? Were we even doing anything? I think we were just like laying down or something. Like when it started, because then you left and came back.
Well, before that, we were talking about you said you had to make a video. She was gonna just,
live. Okay.
Well, yeah, she said that she was gonna make a video telling everybody that we're gonna come back, making a lot more content. Yeah. She was talking about it all year. And she's wanted to apologize to the fans, that she was finally gonna, you know, reveal to you guys that she was never pregnant.
Yeah.
And she's gonna do it on YouTube because she's been trying to get, you know, just transition to YouTube for a while now, and it's just what she wants to do. It's been we have a lot of other stuff in the works right now. So, you know, she just wants to get to YouTube and do her vlogging and her stories and things of that nature. So she made the video and then she went live, and then another content creator actually joined the live, and they were going back and forth about this cousin thing, this whole cousins debate. And him and his girl and her, they were talking about it. I I was watching the game, I think.
No, you were looking at hotels.
Oh yeah, I was
You kept
looking
trying to show me
at, yeah, I was looking at
hotels.
vacation spots. That's what it was. But they got off the live, and it was fairly quick. It was like maybe 8-9 minutes. But as soon as they got the live, that's when the pain started. Like, and everybody's asking like, "Oh, she's pregnant." It would go from pregnancy to gas in the comments. Everything was either pregnancy or gas. But she was really having an episode, and she's like, "I can't do this no more. I gotta get off the live." And then she just got really, really irritable. I forgot what I did. I probably touched her butt. I don't know. I probably did something, but she got so angry. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go. They told me to get out. And so I left, and I was like, maybe she just needs, you know what I'm saying, some her time. So I went to my dad's house. I sat out there, then I drove around for a little bit. I tried to find some fruit, but nothing was open. You're talking about 10 o'clock at night, 10, 11 o'clock. It got to midnight, and I couldn't find no fruit.
Yeah, because I told him I was hungry. Like, I had texted him, and I was like, I wanted some fruit. So he was trying to find somewhere to go get me some fruit, but, like, nothing was open.
And then she got angry because it was midnight, and it's hours later. And I don't know what she thought I was doing, but it was some hours. I looked up, it was some hours. But midnight, I come home, and she's in the bed. I get in the bed, and usually when she's getting angry, she gives me silent treatment, and then she wants to walk around and leave and go to different rooms and stuff. But this time she did do this. She left and went to the other bedroom, and I'm thinking, babe, just communicate with me. Let me know what's going on. Talk to me. But it wasn't that. She said, I'm in pain. Like, you turn the TV on, I don't want to see no lights, I don't want to do anything, I just want to be in the dark and just lay here. So I turned the light on. And now I think about it, it probably was the worst thing to do because she just said that she didn't want any lights. But I just want to see where the pain was and figure out what she needed. And she starts crying. And if you don't know Kiera, she does not cry. Like, I've seen her cry maybe a handful of times. And they were all because she was angry at me. Like, she don't cry. I think she's cried over her dad, you know what I'm saying? And outside of that, like, she doesn't cry, like, at all. And when I say she's not crying, like, just tears coming out her face, like, no, like, I'm not gonna lie, she's, like, bawling. So I call the hospital, and I tell the hospital, like, hey, what's the wait time? They're like, it's 4 people in here. The person that's been here the longest has been here for 40 minutes. She shouldn't be here that long. I'm telling them what's going on. Yeah, you need to get to the emergency room. I call an ambulance. I would have put it in a car, but I was like, no.
I literally couldn't even walk.
Yeah.
Like, it was so painful, and, like, I couldn't talk. I couldn't walk. Like, I was just, all I could do was cry. It was hurting so bad. Like, he kept, asking me questions, like, just trying to, figure out, like, what's going on, like, where are you hurting at, like, what, and I couldn't even respond. Like, all I could do was cry. So at this point, he's like, no, like, you're going to the hospital, like, because at this point, I had been, I got off the live and stuff, and he was gone for, like, a few hours. So this pain, like, when he was gone, it kind of, like, went down some, but I don't know what it was about, like, the TV and stuff being on, but for whatever reason, like, once that happened, the pain came back. And so it was just so bad. Like, I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk. So he had been telling me, to, like, go to the hospital for, like, a few days, or, like, make a doctor's appointment for a few days. I just didn't want to do it. But at this point, he's like, no, like, you're going. Like, I don't care. You're going to the hospital. So, yeah, he did call the hospital. They told him, she shouldn't be there long. So he called the ambulance. They, bring me to the hospital and stuff. And so they ended up having me in the lobby for like 4 hours, like literally 4 hours. And I am in excruciating pain. Like, I'm vomiting, I'm like lightheaded, I'm feeling dizzy, and just crying. Like, I was the whole time. I don't think I ever stopped crying the whole time in the lobby. I don't think. Like, the whole time I was just...
She couldn't even talk. Like,
yeah.
I was sitting there. Like, we were sitting there. I hadn't even gotten there yet. And I'm not gonna lie, I sat there because I honestly thought she had cancer.
Why do these things just keep getting worse?
I told you that. Like, I thought it was cancer. I thought it might have been appendicitis, gallbladder. But in any sense, like, I'm texting your mom, and she's like, "When are you gonna be there? Because you told me not to leave. You're gonna be right back." So I was like, just wait for my phone call, because I'll call you when I need you. But your mom's like, you need to get up there. You need to go up there now. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go. But I'm gonna give it a little bit of time. And she's like, no, you need to go up there. 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 And I'm just like, okay, so I'm gonna go up there. It's 1:30. This is 1 o'clock when I called the ambulance. It's 2:45 and she hasn't even been seen yet. I was like not in a room. She's in the lobby. I was like, okay. I sped up there. Got caught at a train. So now I gotta wait for the train. As soon as the train passed, then I go back and I'm speeding. And I get there. She can't talk. She can't do anything. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on, what's happening. Talking to the nurse up front, she's like, well, I can't tell you how long it's gonna be. Mind you, the same 4 people that were waiting at 1 are still in the lobby waiting. Same 4 people. So I'm just like, dude, what's going on? Like, she was the last person they called back, and it was at 4:15. And by this time she's crying. They had to give her some shot, which I looked up. It was something that was, because at this point, I'm thinking all the worst case scenarios. What if it's cancer, gallbladder, appendicitis? What if she had a miscarriage? What if she's pregnant? And they give her something, droperidol, like I forgot what it was called, but it was like, this is something that you shouldn't give pregnant women. And so it was, and I looked up, it's one of the things that you give someone as a last resort if you've already, they're allergic to all the other medicines. Or you just know for a fact they're not pregnant. So I was like, okay, so we can rule out pregnancy. And now I'm really thinking what if it's cancer? What if she's in this waiting room and her gallbladder or her appendix explodes? They're not gonna do anything. They're telling me that, I'm being serious. That's what I'm thinking, because they're saying that it go by in order of severity, and no shade on anybody else that was in that waiting room. But I can she may be in severe pain. I've seen her in severe pain, severe cramps, all that, and won't even show it. She's curled up in a ball in a hospital she's never been to. And I know my spouse, she wouldn't do that. So she's really in pain. So I'm thinking this could happen at any point in time. They don't call her back. They don't call her back till 4:15. They call her back and they're running all the tests. And they're like, okay, we're gonna get her CAT scan. All we need you to do is, what is it? They said that
they needed a urine sample.
Yeah.
They had given me, a sample cup in the lobby, but I honestly could not get up to, to go use it. They gave me a shot. It was supposed to be for, for pain and nausea and stuff, because I was out there vomiting. But honestly, it did not help. And so, yeah, they're like, well, we want to do CT scan, on your abdomen, but we need a urine sample first before we can do that, because we have to, rule out pregnancy. We can't give you the CT scan if you're pregnant. So at that point, it's I had to force myself to just go. Well, I think actually at that point, they had given me something else for pain. It didn't really help much, but at this point, it's I'm just ready to get to the point of relief. So, I had to force myself to get up and, go use the restroom. So they ended up coming back, they take the urine sample and they're like, okay, well, we're going to test this and then we'll be back. So every chance I get, I'm like, turn the lights out. Like, I'm just trying to force myself to go to sleep, like, every time no one's in the room. So, like, at this point, we're exhausted. We had been in the lobby for hours. I've been crying for hours.
We had been up since 7 a.m. the day before.
So this is what, like 4 or 5 something in the morning at this point. So every time they leave out, just trying to force myself to go to sleep. I just want to lay in the dark. I just want to be as still as possible and, like, just
I'm laying with her.
Yeah, he's on the bed with me.
There's no chair.
There was no chair in the room. So he's, like, laying there with me, like on the bed and stuff. So they ended up coming back and they're like, okay, so we do have some news. Your HCG levels came back positive, so you're pregnant. And so
he said positive pregnancy. It was positive. He walked in and said it's positive pregnancy. Yeah. And I'm half sleep, like 90% sleep, to be honest.
Yeah.
So when he said it, because I could see the light when he walked in. I'm a light sleeper. Mm-hmm. So, like, I thought he said possible pregnancy.
Yeah.
And
it just did not hit him.
Because it took me about 15 minutes to realize. I said, did he say possible pregnancy?
That's right. He said, how is it a possible pregnancy? He's like, what did the test say? Maybe. I said, babe, he said positive pregnancy.
She said, I said that I was asleep because, like, again, I worked all day, had the kids and all that. So, and I've been running around for her because she couldn't do anything. Because she was really, like, immobile, which again was odd because she's always moving. But I'm asleep, like I'm really like laying on her like stomach. No, I was laying on her back, and I was like, what's a possible pregnancy? And all of a sudden, she's up now, and because she done changed positions, and she said, "Well, you were right." And I said, "Right about what?" He said, "Did he say possible pregnancy?" And that's when it hit me. I said, "Kira, did he say positive pregnancy?"
No, I had to tell you. I said, babe, he said positive pregnancy. This is all I heard. And then he walked out the room.
So big, yeah, I left.
He walked out the room.
I got up because at that point now I'm wide awake again. And oh my gosh, my anxiety was so bad.
Yeah, he had like such terrible anxiety. I'm like, babe, in my mind, like I was like just in so much pain, but in my mind, I'm like, in what world did it make sense to you that he would come back and the test would say maybe? But he was just half asleep.
They took urine samples, took 75 blood samples. So I was thinking, like it is like it's that hospital. So I was like, anything's possible with them.
Yeah.
But I was like, you got all that information. There's no way and they got more blood too after that. Mm-hmm. So I was like, there's just no way that you don't know that she's pregnant or not. But it sounded like it said possible pregnancy.
Yeah, so I'm like, no, babe, it said positive pregnancy. And so
it made me even more mad. I'm like, the medicine they gave you for the nausea and the vomiting and the headache it literally said the only thing that you don't want to do is don't give this to a woman that is possibly pregnant. Mm-hmm. Which is another reason why I got possible, because I kept reading that. I still have it on my phone now because it's all I can think of is when it said possible pregnancy. I was like, oh, she can't be pregnant. When he said that, I was like, I knew it.
Yeah, he knew it. But honestly, like at that point when he did come back and, say I was pregnant, the amount of pain that I was in, like I kind of like already figured like, I'm having a miscarriage, because I'm like, once I never before then, like I just never had any thought that, I was pregnant. But once he told me like, yeah, you're pregnant, I'm like, the pain that I'm in, the bleeding, like I just didn't feel like it would be, good, because the pain was just so abnormal and unbearable. So at that point, he's like, well, we want to, get ultrasound going on you so we can take some pictures, you know, you can see, you know, what's going on. So I honestly just tried to kind of like force myself to go back to sleep again, because like the medicine they're giving me isn't really helping anything. I'm exhausted. I'd been crying for hours. Cam now, like his anxiety's through the roof, and I know he's tired. Like I was just ready to go home. And so I'm like, okay, well, just whenever, you know, if you're in the emergency room, you're waiting hours a lot of times in between each different step they take. So I'm just like, I'm just trying to sleep as much as possible. So they've come back finally to take me, you know, do the wand ultrasound, take some pictures, yada, yada, yada. So I'm asking her, I'm like, you know, the technician, I'm like, hey, you know, did you see anything, or does everything look okay, or, you know, what's going on? And she's like, oh, well, you know, I don't know. I just take the pictures, you know, the doctor has to look at it and, you know, they'll let you know. I'm like, okay, well, cool. So go back to the room. Huh?
That's what I knew.
What you mean?
She's not just there to take pictures. That's just not what that is. That she's trained to know exactly how far along you are, how to measure the baby, and all that. When you came back, because they wouldn't let me in the room. And when you came back, I said, well, what is it? Because I still have my optimism, like, hey, you know, baby's healthy. Like when they gave her, when they checked, they couldn't feel anything. Say that it's possible that she may either have a miscarriage or
an ectopic pregnancy, because of
yeah.
the pain levels I was in. They said that was their concern, just because like the pain. So they wanted to do like a pelvic exam and the ultrasound.
And that's when you came back with the when you came back with the when you told me that they wouldn't tell you, that's what I knew was ectopic. Because if it was a miscarriage, they would have told you. They would have told you the baby was dead. But, and man, I know that sounds crazy, but that's how that hospital is. Like they would have told you.
No, I've had like scans and stuff where like nothing ended up being wrong, and they told me the same thing. Like, oh well, you know, I just take the pictures. Like the doctor has to look at them, and then they'll let you know. So I was like, you know, I've heard that multiple times before. But yeah, so needless to say, doctor came back and confirmed it was an ectopic pregnancy. And so that it was just really difficult, because it's like we found out like, oh, you're pregnant, and then that we lost the child all within the span of like 2 hours or 3 hours.
It wasn't even an hour.
It was like a couple hours.
It wasn't even an hour.
Either way, it was a short period of time.
You didn't get back there until 4:15. They didn't get you into the room to do by the time they got you into the room to do the pelvic exam, that was 5:30. And when you found out that you had to have surgery, that was 6:30. So, I mean, you talk about an hour and a half. You found out around like 5 o'clock, maybe. Might have been closer to 5:15. But I know for a fact that when I texted your mom, it was 6:30, it was 6:25.
I mean, it doesn't really make a
Because
difference.
then you went upstairs at like 7.
It's just like a very short period of time where it's like, okay, you know, we just found out, oh, we're having a baby. And then shortly after, it's like, well, you know, you lost the baby. And so, yeah, it was an ectopic pregnancy. So they're like, well, we're going to have to, you know, go ahead and get you ready for surgery, you know, to remove the baby. And I'm like, you know, like right now? He's like, yeah, like right now. So he took us like to the prep area and stuff, had to change. They're explaining the procedure to me, talk to the surgeon, talk to the anesthesiologist, just kind of going over, you know, everything that's gonna occur, what's gonna happen, you know, what to expect, certain things that could happen, you know, all that stuff. So it was just so much to process in like such a small period of time. And it's really crazy because for like months now, like he's been telling me like, all I want is, you know, for my birthday is a baby and to be your husband. That's all I want for my birthday. His birthday's coming up January 28th. And so it's like thinking like, hey, you know, we're about to have a baby. We've been together almost 2 years now. And, you know, just, we haven't had one. It's like, okay, now, you know, you go from thinking like, hey, you know, we're about to have a child together, and then to find out we lost it. That was really difficult. It's like we didn't even have time to really process even being pregnant, and then, you know, just like a blow. So that was hard. I ended up going, you know, to surgery. They put me under. Had to have the surgery to remove the baby. I remember just coming back to, and they put me like sitting up in a chair. They had me like sitting up in a chair while I guess like the anesthesia wore off and stuff. And I was still like kind of in and out of it. Like when I got up, I know they gave me like, you know, some pain medicine and stuff because I was like in excruciating pain. Oddly enough, it was a little more of a relief than the cramps that I had been feeling, you know, but it was just still like an excruciating amount of pain. So they gave me the pain medicine that knocked me out. I'm in there like just in and out of it, sitting in a chair. So it's like I can't really get into like a super good sleep, but, you know, I'm just kind of in and out of it. So prior to going to surgery, you know, they explained to me that they have to like put 2 holes in my stomach and like fill my stomach up with like, I think it was like gas or air or something like that. And they'll put like these things in like the 2 holes, and that's how they'll remove the baby. So I just remember like when I'm in and out of my sleep, one of the nurses that was there, you know, ended up calling Cam. He ended up, you know, while I was in surgery, he had to leave to go, you know, get the kids ready for school and stuff, and, you know, how to get them on the bus and all that stuff. Because our son was like, you know, over his father's house, so he had to pick him up, get him on the bus, all that stuff. So I just remember they called him like, you know, hey, you know, she's out of surgery. He's like, you know, I just heard the nurse like, did you have a chance to talk to the surgeon? And he was like, well, I didn't hear him, but she was like, well, yeah, you know, the surgeon tried to call you, but we ended up having to remove her fallopian tube. No, I know that wasn't explained before, but they ended up having to take one of my fallopian tubes out. That threw me off a lot. It was just a lot, you know? So, then, I mean, that was pretty much the extent of my hospital stay. It was not the most comforting experience. Like the nurse was literally like just very pushy with me, rushing me to do this and that. Like there was a male nurse that was there, you know, he was African American, and he was the one that ended up, you know, taking me to the car when they discharged me. But he was just telling me like, you know, like I had to pull her to the side and like let her know, like, stop treating her like that. Like, and I appreciated him so much because it was just like so uncomfortable, especially considering everything that was already going on. It was like, you know, I'm glad that, you know, he like stood up for me. He was like, you know, we have to look out for each other and all that stuff, but it just wasn't really a comfortable experience. But I was there for maybe another, couple hours or so while I guess they had to watch me for a little bit after I got out of surgery. And they sent me home, you know, pain meds and all that stuff, and just really was focusing on, you know, trying to just stay in bed, you know, take it easy because I was just in so much pain. Like I really couldn't even talk the first few days. We slept like all day when we got home. So yeah, that's what happened. I do want to say, like, for everyone that was respectful and patient, again, I think I might have said this towards the beginning of the video, but I do appreciate you all so much. You know, the ones that were supportive, that were sending prayers, that, you know, were checking on me every day. There were a lot of you all that did guess, you know, what it was. You know, they were guessing exactly, you know, what happened. I'm sure a lot of people could interpret what happened just from what Cam was saying alone, but I just was not physically or mentally in a place where I wanted to just, you know, discuss it at that point. I am doing better now, as far as physically. I am still like in pain, but it's not as bad as it was, you know, like the first couple days. Of course, I'm able to get around a little better. I can talk now, as you all can see. I think now it's just more so the mental aspect. And there were just like a lot of, granted, probably shouldn't have been like on live and stuff, I don't think, but it was so many rude people and people that were just saying disrespectful things, and that also made it really difficult as well. Just because it was just such a vulnerable time, and there wasn't a lot of time to process everything. It's like y'all are just being so rude. And normally, like, people say crazy stuff about us all the time. Like, it doesn't bother me, but just given the circumstances, it was just like, I'll be honest, like, I almost really just wanted to quit social media altogether. Like, I did not want to put anything else out there, because it's like, it's so crazy that people not even knowing what's going on are just able to treat you so cruelly. And I think at that point, I probably needed more support. And there was, don't get me wrong, there was way more support than there was negativity. So for that, I am extremely grateful for everyone who was kind and patient and respectful. But it was really hard. Like, I didn't even know. And honestly, still now, it's like, sometimes, like, I don't even know if I want to do social media anymore, because that was a lot to experience. But I think the mental aspect is, you know, the difficult part. Like, just, you know, we lost a child. That's hard. Just trying to process everything is hard. But, you know, just taking things day by day. I'm so thankful, because Cam literally has not left my side, like, throughout this whole thing. Like, he's been the greatest support. He's taken great care of me. Yeah, but I think that's the hard part, just processing everything. Yeah. You feel? Okay. Yeah. So I'm just taking things day by day. Just trying to, you know, stay positive, you know, keep hopeful spirits. I'm just understanding that things aren't, you know, in our timing. Just processing everything. But physically, just, I think, you know, getting better. I'm moving around better. Still have to rest some more and take it easy. I do have to follow up with a surgeon, I think, in like another week or so, unless there's like any complications from the procedure. But I think the mental aspect is just the hardest part for me. Okay.
It's just a lot to process.
Yeah.
I was just telling you, you know what I'm saying? Like an hour and a half ago, like, this was the one. Like immediately when I realized, I finally processed that she was pregnant, that like I was just thinking like this baby's gonna be the president. Whatever year, I don't know what year, 2000, what, in 70 or whatever, but this was the one.
Yeah.
It's just a lot to process within an hour, and it was just so many emotions. The service was terrible. I mean, the surgeon was great. So we don't want to say anything bad about the surgeon, but
the anesthesiologist, he was also amazing. He was really great too. And the aftercare nurse, the one that, you know, took me out to the car, he was also amazing. But outside of that, it was just a horrible procedure, or like not procedure, but experience. It was just,
I'm processing all that, and then to like, I guess it's just my personality. Like, when you say something like that, I think that like human emotion would get you excited. You know what I'm saying? You find something out like that. I don't think that it was really professional for him to tell us in that setting the way that he said it, because it was the way he said it. It sounded really positive. And given her pain level, it sounded like maybe this was like pregnancy pains, which I've never heard of, not being like this, but it's like, I just found out, and then minutes later, you're like, yeah, no, it's not that time. We gotta take the baby out. But all I care about, you know what I'm saying, is making sure you're okay. Because once you're okay, then I can worry about my mental health, but I can't really worry about me until I know for a fact that you're in a good place. We've had our conversations, you know what I'm saying? We've talked about it, and we've had some moments, some really good moments, but I just don't know how okay. I mean, it's the beginning of the year, so I just don't know how okay I'm gonna be for a while.
your mental health is equally as important, but we'll get through it together. I love you.
Love you too.
So, yeah, that is the sad update. And the whole big reveal thing, honestly, was literally just to tell you all that I was never pregnant, not knowing that we had all of this coming. But
It's really ironic.
very ironic, but
Like, literally the day you told them you were going to tell them that you weren't pregnant, you were pregnant.
yeah.
And had been pregnant that whole time.
Yeah, they said that based on the last menstrual that I was pregnant since November, towards the end of November is what they were estimating. So that whole time when I was just like super irritable, he wanted Starburst, he was tired and eating everything, and I just wanted to just like choke him and stuff. I was pregnant.
There was a video in December where I kept telling her to take a test, and she kept telling me no.
I was pregnant.
She was pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, so we literally were not expecting any of that, but now we're just, you know, focusing on, of course, you know, physically me getting better, but mentally just being there for one another, supporting one another through this. I know Like, I really have to commend Cam because I know it's really hurting and affecting him, but he has been amazing for me. Like, he's been literally like my rock through this. But we're just, you know, focusing on just taking things day by day and, yeah, just trying to remain as positive as possible. When we get, you know, back in a better space, then we will have more content and stuff for you guys. We'll get through this together. But yeah, probably just take a little bit more time just to, you know, kind of process everything, take care of us, and get back in a space where we can make great content for our supporters. Yeah, so we do love you guys. We appreciate everyone who's checked on us, who's been supportive since finding out that something even happened, not even knowing what, just, you know, we're not going to ask any questions, just send in prayers, just support. And even those who, you know, stood up for us when people were being rude and disrespectful, the moderators we had, like, we appreciate all of you guys that support us. It meant so much more than you all know in that moment. So thank you all for that, and we love you guys. Anything else? Okay. All right, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video, leave some comments, and we will check in with you all sooner or later. Yeah, we love y'all.
Tell me I wanna know some, girl, I see. Could just go with the motion. One thing I know for sure, you, girl,